What's up, y'all? Talon here. Today I'm back with another series of high-level rank battles featuring top teams in the Regulation E metagame. Today I have a team that was created and piloted by Raghav Malaviya to a top 4 finish at the Toronto Regionals. Raghav also got a top 4 at the previous regional, Sacramento, with a very different team composition. Snow with like 9 tails, Magma Storm, bulky Heatran, so very, very different to the offensive stuff that they were able to get top 4 this time with. So congrats to Raghav on an incredible start to their season. I thought this was one of the cooler teams from the regional, definitely rose to the top in the end, but it was one of the few teams with Regidrago. I believe there was also Grant Weldon who got top 16 with a similar Tornadus Regidrago team with a couple different components. I believe it was a dark Scarf Urshifu, for example, but largely a lot of similar components on the Tornadus and the Regidrago aspect. So I do think that's a Pokemon that people might have been sleeping on a little bit. The damage output is pretty incredible, and I did want to share it on the channel just because I didn't see a rental public. Grant might have had one, but yeah, I wanted to do Raghav's just because I think it has a lot of more interesting components, a lot more bulk than you're traditionally used to seeing on Trick Room or Tailwind team, so I thought it'd be a cool team to share on the channel. I did take the time to recreate the team in-game from some guesswork EV spread, so if you do appreciate that, please subscribe to the channel if you appreciate the resource of the rental code. With all that being said, let's get into a breakdown of the team. So starting off, the star of the show is definitely the Regidrago. So Regidrago definitely has a hole in the metagame. We have seen the Flutter Mane usage kind of slow down compared to, Regulation D, where it was at like 70% in all day 2s. Now it's getting down a little closer to like 45, 50, still very, very high usage Pokemon, but it's not necessarily going to be on every team. And I feel like there are a lot of tools in the metagame that let you handle the Flutter Manes a little bit better than we used to be able to. So Raghav taking advantage of that and using the Dragon Energy, basically a Dragon type water spout off of Dragon's Maw being a 1.5 multiplier. For some reason, they nerfed Regieleki's Transistor ability, but not Dragon's Maw. So that is still essentially a choice specs on Dragon-type moves. And then Dragon's Fang puts another 1.2 on that damage multiplier, and it's just doing crazy damage with the Dragon Energy. If you do ever get chipped down on damage, you can go for Draco Meteor. If you're in the face of Wide Guard, similar, and then Earth Power. Just excellent damage into things like Heatran, other steel types that would resist your dragon type moves. You're able to hit those super effective if you see a knockout there. The Terra type on the Regidrago is more defensive than offensive. It's Terra Steel basically to be able to resist any Terra Normal Extreme Speed from Dragonite, for example. A lot of times people are going to want to go for a Fairy move on Flutter Mane, like lock in a Dazzling Gleam, or go for a Terra Normal Extreme Speed on Dragonite to just get some chip off. And while those still will do a lot of damage, you do have a fairly high HP stat to soak those hits up if they're not super effective, and then answer back with a Dragon Energy or Draco Meteor on the Dragonite's case, and then just kind of linger on the field and have your just deal with the Flutter Mane with your partner on the other side. Tornadus here is interesting. From what I gathered on stream, it was a pretty slow, very, very bulky one with Rocky Helmet, able to sponge up physical hits, and if you get hit with the Surging Strikes, for example, just able to tank that. If you're hit with a Wild Charge from an Iron Hands that is not running max attack, you might be able to tank that and get at least 2 hits of Rocky Helmet off, which I feel like Iron Hands is definitely enemy number 1 of Tailwind teams just because it can soak up hits so well. But with the combination of Rocky Helmet on Tornadus, Regidrago's Dragon Energy, you can chip it down a lot faster than other Tailwind teams, so I do like that a lot. The moveset is pretty standard: Bleak Wind, Tailwind, Protect, and Rain Dance for the Urshifu that's in the lower part of the team, as well as just giving a basically allowing for, if you're in front of a Chi-Yu or a Heatran or something, you can go for Rain Dance, weaken their damage output into something like Gholdengo or Rillaboom on that front. Interestingly, it is Protect, no Taunt. You are a pretty slow Tornadus, so you'll definitely be losing the Taunt war against other Torns, so Raghav probably just recognizing that and being like, okay, I have enough Amoonguss switch-ins, I don't really need to be taunting that. You can't consistently taunt Trick Room teams for the most part because of Psychic Terrain, so we're just going to go Protect, allow myself to maneuver the Tornadus a little more carefully than others might be used to doing. And yeah, Torn going to be Terra Ghost here, basically immune to Fake Out or Extreme Speed from Dragonite if you do come up against that, but generally it's just a solid neutral typing to go into, like if you don't want to get knocked out by a Wild Charge or something like that, you can go Terra Ghost and survive a couple hits that way. Next is Arcanine. I think we haven't, Tailwind Arcanine has won 3 out of 4 of the Regulation E regionals, but it's always been choice banded. And I guess it was a Sitrus Berry one that actually won the one that wasn't on a Tailwind team. That was Andrew Zhang's bulkier take on it. And this one's pretty similar to that. It is Flare Blitz, Rock Slide, Will-O-Wisp, Extreme Speed with a Sitrus Berry and Terra Water. So essentially having a defensive switch in that can heal up a little bit of HP is something not a lot of Tailwind teams have. Some of them have an Iron Hands, but this one is using the Arcanine with the Sitrus Berry to be able to heal up, switch in, increase the longevity of things like Regidrago or Gholdengo, and basically let you play outside of Tailwind really well. There are a lot of games on stream where Raghav would not even bring the Torn, just focus around the Regidrago or the Gholdengo win conditions, and just like use Fake Out with Rillaboom or Intimidate with the Arcanine and Will-O-Wisp to increase their longevity and get basically spread move sweeps going in the late game because of that. So I do really like this take on the archetype. Speaking of Gholdengo, I think it's pretty interesting to run a basically a Terra Dragon and not a Terra Steel Gholdengo on this team with Nasty Plot instead of, I feel like Choice Specs would be the more conventional pick that a lot of players would opt for, but Raghav went for Metal Coat, basically giving you the damage output to be able to knock out a bulky, semi-bulky Flutter Mane with Make It Rain without even needing to go for Nasty Plot, and then just Nasty Plot Terra Dragon for teams that aren't so well versed in beating that. Like the first regional was won by a Terra Dragon Gholdengo on James Beck's side, and I feel like we still haven't figured out how to consistently answer that. Raghav seeing that hole and then just going for a Nasty Plot Terra Dragon set, I think is really smart. I think on the other side of top 4, Jamie Boyd actually had Nasty Plot Terra Steel Life Orb, so we are seeing a bit of a changeover on Tailwind teams away from Leftovers or Choice Spec to a more kind of a mixed hybrid set, so definitely be on the lookout for that. I'm excited to see how that performs for us today. And then next up is the Rillaboom, which is kind of interesting. It's Terra Grass, Grassy Glide, Woodhammer. We've seen mostly Miracle Seed, but this one is an Assault Vest version of that, so you aren't necessarily getting the same knockouts that you would with like Sword of Ruin, Miracle Seed, Terra Grass, Grassy Glide, getting like guaranteed knockouts on things like a, Flutter Mane from 100% HP. But with the Terra Grass, you should still be getting things like Urshifu at neutral HP, which if you look at the team, Regidrago gets outsped by other Urshifu, Arcanine the same. You have to go for a Terra Water, expend that to even survive a turn against it. Gholdengo, you have to go for the Terra Dragon. So having Rillaboom on the field to be able to either go for Woodhammer, just take a straight up knockout, or Terra Grass, Grassy Glide for that KO can be really appreciated. And then Fake Out, of course, is what you're really using Rillaboom for, just being able to pivot in and out and kind of be a nuisance and basically give your Pokemon like Gholdengo turns to Nasty Plot, or kind of put people in a vice where you can go Fake Out with Rillaboom and also Surging Strike's the same slot, so they can't protect because Surging Strikes is just going to hit through that, but they also can't really, they don't gain anything from attacking because Fake Out will just lock that slot up, so I do like that a lot. And the last slot is going to be the high horsepower. You could definitely see Raghav needing to force things like Terra from a Heatran. Arcanine doesn't do too well against that, Gholdengo either. So if you can force the Terra Fairy or Terra Grass, you can either weaken it up for Gholdengo's Make It Rain or something like the Dragon Energy to hit that for super effective, really just dependent on the opponent's team. Urshifu is the last Pokemon on the team, and it's a pretty standard Choice Scarf Urshifu. This time, though, it's a Terra Poison, so opting for a more defensive spin. Really the only way to augment your damage is going for Rain Dance, which can be a little restrictive, but I think it's interesting that Raghav, largely on this team, focused on defensive Terras outside of the Rillaboom, basically just opting for, okay, I have enough offense. Just by the virtue of the team composition, I'm going to be outspeeding and do a ton of damage. Let's instead focus on increasing the amount of turns I can actually get hits off instead of like just hoping to take those KOs in the turns that I normally would have. Once again, shout out to Raghav for 2 top 4s in consecutive regionals. I believe we've actually featured both of those teams, so really innovative team builder and excellent player. Shout out to them. We'll probably see more of them in the coming, in the rest of the season. If you enjoy the video, if you appreciate the resource of the rental code as well as the PokePaste with the EV spreads in the description, please subscribe to the channel. With all that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, starting off an interesting battle today with Ogerpon, Heartflame Form, Tornadus, Scizor, Fluttermane, Amoonguss, and Garchomp. I feel like if you see Garchomp, it's usually Clear Amulet these days, so want to be ready for that. I think one of Regidrago's strengths is actually that it resists a lot of the Ogerpon attacks, so I think that kind of baits out some obvious leads from them. I'll likely see one of Scizor, Fluttermane, probably Garchomp if they're Terra Steel, so gotta be ready for that. I kind of like Urshifu to an extent. Gholdengo is actually quite strong, I think, and I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go Torn Gholdengo. Feel like I could potentially go Rain Dance. There's some options for sure. I like Urshifu in the back. against everything but Amoonguss and... Well, I don't know. It's hard to say on the Regidrago slot. Like if I want to bring it or not. I think Arcanine makes sense against a lot of their Pokemon. But I am making myself quite weak, I think, to Ogerpon. So yeah, in theory, Regidrago is really good here. But the Scizor is actually kind of scaring me more than I kind of thought. And not knowing if the Garchomp is, for example, Clear Amulet, that makes things a little tricky for the Regidrago, because if they can remain at neutral, then they can always knock me out with either Dragon Claw or Stomping Tantrum, whether I Terra or not. And I don't really want to get into the situation where I have to Terra, just because Steel and Poison are really common Terras. And they do end up leading the Garchomp and the Torn. So, fair enough. Unfortunately, I'm in the same exact spot. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I don't have a great switch in for that, unfortunately. I might just try and go Tailwind, Make It Rain, and hope that I can tank a hit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go Protect. What if they Swords Dance, right? I'm pretty bulky on the Gholdengo. I'm not, without Intimidate, I'm not sure I will live a hit. They could go Earthquake pretty easily. I'm just going to go Make It Rain, Tailwind, get some damage off. I could go Terra Dragon here. I think that might have been a decent play. But they just as well might go Protect Garchomp, so I don't want to waste that. Like if I was Mental Herb, I would probably go something like Bleak Wind, Make It Rain, just hope that I can tank a hit on the Gholdengo. They are going for a Terra, which is interesting. They might be Terra Ground, actually. That would definitely knock me out, unfortunately. Oh, Terra Fire. Okay, that's cool. If I can get a hit on the Tornadus, I'm definitely okay with this. We do go first against their Torn, which is cool. Yeah, nothing from them. I wonder if they're going for Icy Wind. That's a lot of damage, though. You can see the damage from the... Yep, there is a Bleak Wind doing a bit of damage to Torn, and they do lower our speed, which probably won't be relevant, and they go Terra Blast, Terra Fire. Interesting. They double into the Torn. We might live this, honestly. Yeah, we do. Okay. That's something. I think this should be a pretty free... should I Rain Dance? I think I maybe could. It'd be a bit risky. I kind of like Nasty Plot Rain Dance to an extent. I think that could be interesting for me. They're almost certainly setting up Tailwind here if I had to guess. Can set up Rain Dance, that'd be good. It would weaken my damage output considerably, though. I think I'm actually going to switch and go Bleak Wind here. I could Protect if I wanted to play aggressively, but I don't want to just lose my Urshifu on the spot if they go, for example, like Bleak Wind. Oh, they go Protect Garchomp. Okay. But yeah, if they go like Tailwind, if they go Bleak Wind this turn, I really just don't want to get caught slipping there. But okay. Even if we don't hit the... I think we probably do need to hit the Bleak Wind, actually, unfortunately. Hate to see it. Okay. What are we going to do about that? I could go Terra Poison here. I think the Amoonguss switch in is kind of problematic, truthfully. Yeah, the Amoonguss switch in is kind of annoying here, unfortunately, for sure. The speed drop is also a bit of an issue. I might reset into... Yeah, that's really annoying. Garchomp just protected. I think I'm going to Surging Strikes the Torn and switch into Arcanine, maybe? Maybe I should have preserved the Arcanine. I'm not exactly sure. I'm really kind of have to call which slot the Torn or the Amoonguss is switching in on, and I feel like given Garchomp just protected, that's a fair call, but it looks like nothing is actually going to switch here, and we can intimidate the Garchomp. They go for Sunny Day. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But we'll be able to go Rain Dance later in the battle. And it was not Rocky Helmet Torn, so interesting. They could go Earthquake here, which would be kind of bad, but I might be able to live on the Arcanine and get Citrus Berry healing. It was Earthquake, so good play. Yeah. Yeah, it did crit the Urshifu, unfortunately. So that's a bit of an issue, honestly. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I think I want to go Torn here. I could go Gholdengo. Their damage output at this point is kind of bad. But I think I'm going to go Torn here because I can at least switch out. Would you be Dragon Claw? Terra Blast, Stomping Tantrum, probably something like that. Okay, Flutter does come in. So that's good because I can go unless they're Booster Energy Speed. It is Photosynthesis and it's going to be Speed. I believe the way it works is I can just take away that with Rain Dance. The only question is, I have one turn of Tailwind left. Is this worth it? Because they can knock out the... Yeah, I wish I could protect, actually. That's kind of annoying. They did get an offset Tailwind. Maybe I should think about protecting. I don't know. I think I'm going to go Surging Strike, Rain Dance. If they switch into Amoonguss, well played. But they do leave the Flutter Mane in, so this should be a knockout. I believe going Rain Dance on the turn they had Photosynthesis. Yeah, it turns it off. So going to be an easy knockout into that, doing only 2 hits. And barely that. It was like 1.5 hits is all I needed. So not a bulky Flutter Mane. The crit on the Urshifu was pretty annoying, truthfully. I wonder if Terra Blast knocks out. The SD, okay, that's cool. Interesting option from them. So they are +1. Yeah, the crit on the Urshifu was pretty annoying overall. But yeah, switching in the Arcanine there was a mistake. And they bring in the Ogerpon, which is fine. I think now I have a pretty safe switch to Goldie. And this is where Protect on Torn comes in very, very clutch. Because I can just Protect. No reason to Terra. They don't have an Urshifu. Oh, okay. That's interesting. They cancel, I think, a turn early because, like, there's not... Maybe they expect me to be, like, max speed Torn and be able to Bleak Wind them. I guess it does depend on their Ogerpon set, but I don't think that was a lost game by any means. Just because, like, unless you really aggressively read the switch... Well, I guess they only have Earthquake. They kind of have to target themselves. I guess it's like an understandable forfeit, but I do think that game was still winnable. Because I was going to go Protect, Tailwind the next turn. Gholdengo either gets knocked out on a switch, which I think is kind of unlikely. I think they're more likely to Horn Leech, Terra Blast my Torn. So yeah, assuming Gholdengo doesn't go down, then I just go to a... Like Surging Strike will knock out their Ogerpon. I go Tailwind. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I think they maybe could have won, honestly. So I kind of disagree with that. Wait, was I going to misplay there? No, I think... Yeah, I think I was. Because if you think about it, I don't have to Protect to stall out their Tailwind because I'm Choice Scarf. So I think I actually almost choked it away and just, like, they forfeited it before I could. But yeah, definitely a big brain lapse there. Up against a Psy-Spam team with Indeedee, Armarouge, Dusclops, the Bear, Hisuian-Lilligant, and Torkoal. I think this team is actually way better against Psy-Spam than most teams. This kind of looks like Joe's team. I don't know if he's Wide Guard Armarouge. That would be really important to figure out. Yeah, let's figure that out. I think Torn with Rain Dance is just a generally solid lead for me. Or maybe I have it in the back. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Torn, Regidrago as my lead. In the back, I do need something for Ursaluna. I think I'm going to go Rillaboom just to turn off the speed on their side. I don't think Arcanine is that valuable. It does handle some of their options. I think Urshifu might actually be better for me here, interestingly enough. Hard to say, though. Maybe Arcanine makes sense. I just don't think the damage output is that good. I ended up going Gholdengo. I'm not sure. I think the Protect might be a little more valuable than the typing. If I get the Urshifu into Rain, obviously I'm like trucking, but I think maybe Gholdengo's damage output might be a little more valuable and like being able to spread it out. But they go Dusclops plus... Yeah, that's interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have Taunt, but they don't know that. I'm going to go Dragon Energy. Could I go Rain Dance here? I think Bleak Wind makes sense. Yeah, I think I just go Bleak Wind. The issue with... Yeah, this was a good lead from them. If I had led like Gholdengo, they'd be pretty threatened, but unfortunately not the case. So good lead from them. Very safe Protect. Dragon Energy is probably going to do close to 60%. Maybe I could go for Draco Energy or Draco Meteor plus... What does more, Dragon Energy or Draco Meteor? Oh, that does way less than I expected. Go for Bleak Wind. Let's see if we hit 1 today. And we actually do. That's cool. So unfortunately, they do have a pretty safe knockout, and I can't super safely do anything about it. I think I'm going to protect the Regidrago this turn. Yeah, stalling this out might be an issue. Like, the issue is they have Facade or High Horsepower, and I don't have a great switch in for either. They could Ice Punch me as well on the Torn, which would be annoying. I could double protect, just kind of force them to switch, which I might do. Like, stall a turn, basically. I think I will do that. I didn't bring Intimidate, which is problematic for sure. Now, on one hand, I am giving them a switch this turn, which could be annoying. But yeah, the Dusclops was smart. It definitely covers a lot. They don't switch, which is good, meaning they are actually giving me damage. Well, yeah, Dusclops can go for Pain Split, basically heal back up to full. But they go for Nightshade, which is perplexing, honestly. We'll see what they go for. Facade into the... Interesting, okay. I feel like High Horsepower is safer onto the Regidrago from them. I'm definitely going to Bleak Wind again. The question is, do I switch? If I switch into Gholdengo, is that good for me? I guess Rillaboom is kind of useless in the back. Would you High Horsepower or Facade here? I feel like Facade covers Terra Steel well. If they go High Horsepower, though, I'm doing a big chunk of damage on Gholdengo, so I think I might be happy with that. Like, I think they're kind of incentivized to go for Facade here. We switch out first, meaning they're keeping the Dusclops on the field, not really exerting a lot of damage pressure. Notably, switching in Gholdengo is our main damage output into the Dusclops. They go for Haze, not Nightshade. So covering my Intimidate cycling, they do Headlong Rush, but yeah, I could have gone Rillaboom there, but it is what it is. Didn't think to. So how many turns are there left? I should be able to survive this game with one of my... Oh, we miss an attack. Into... Okay, into the bear. We're good there. So another one of those should get it in burn range. Interesting. Very interesting. Nightshade, Haze, Trick Room, probably Will-O-Wisp, but hard to say for sure. If they target the right Pokemon here, I just lose the game outright, I think. But I think it's so obvious that I protect the Regidrago, I might attack with it. I'm not sure. Hard to say. I think I'm going to go protect, switch to Rillaboom. Because I think because they doubled the Tornadus last time, okay, they're switching out into what? That's interesting. They really gave me a turn to attack there. Armarouge is in. That could be a problem. I actually just switched out. That's a little problematic for sure. Yikes. All right. Good play by them. If I had Draco, if I had gone for that move, I would have probably just killed them this turn. And then I switched in my Psychic Terrain anti-Pokemon right away. Okay, that's bad. They go Pain Split onto the Regidrago. Depending on their moves, though, we might have the damage we need. I think they're really incentivized to go for a switch this turn. Yeah. I'm going to go High Horsepower. Maybe I should Woodhammer, actually. The issue starting to become if they are Wide Guard on the Armarouge, I'm going to lose to Indeedee Armarouge. They'll just set up Trick Room again. But I'm not sure there's a ton I can do about that. Do I think I'll live a Psychic Terrain hit, potentially? Yeah, I'm not sure, though. I'm going to switch and go for a High Horsepower. No, this is probably a mistake. Okay, Dusclops did switch out, which means like that's overall pretty good. They bring in the Recluse, and it is Indeedee, not Torkoal. So I think we'll probably live a Psychic Terrain with both, but the thing is, the next turn, I'm not sure what I do, because I feel like a Woodhammer will not knock out Indeedee even with Terra Grass without Miracle Seed. And that's just like assuming I live this hit. Because it's getting very, like the potential for another Trick Room to go up is really, really high. They go Heat Wave and Rillaboom dodges, which is good. They do a ton of damage. We were AV, so I think we might have lived that. And then High Horsepower, going to get pretty close to a knockout, but not quite. Okay. Let's see. If they are not Wide Guard, this will knock them out. I actually kind of see an opportunity to maybe bring in, like, Oblique Wind, switch to Regidrago. I should be able to tank that. I'm not sure. They'll always be able to heal up to full is the issue. I think I just have to hope that they are not Wide Guard and that I double hit this and then try and close it out from there. We'll see, though. Like, I think Wide Guard, if their Indeedee can live this hit, which given I don't have Grassy Terrain, I think they will, and I don't have Miracle Seed. If I did, I think that might be close to a knockout, but probably not in this case. I think that I have to bank on them not having Wide Guard, and they do go for Protect, which is good. We're going to go for Bleak Wind. Hopefully it hits. They have Psychic Seed, but that might be what tips us over the edge on the knockout. That's going to be really close. It's going to depend on how both of us are EV'd. So we're going for it, and oh, that's a huge knockout. Okay. Yeah, so the Terra tipping us over into the range where we could knock that out. Dusclops seems pretty low. It depends on their Terra type, though. Dusclops is in. Like, if I wanted to, I could go Bleak Wind. Yeah, this is an interesting situation where I think Bleak Wind guarantees a knockout on Armarouge, I think. Rain Dance lets me survive this turn, though. I'm not sure Woodhammer will knock out the Dusclops. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. They have to go for Trick Room regardless, so I'm actually going to Bleak Wind Woodhammer. Like, if they take a knockout, I still have full HP Regidrago in the back, and we know that they are not a... Dusclops is going for Terra. I kind of expected that to some extent, which is why I went for the Bleak Wind. Like, I thought Terra Grass might be likely, but the Terra Fire definitely makes sense. I think with Bleak Wind and Woodhammer, we should knock out. We miss one. I think that was the Dusclops. That's pretty bad. It's not the end of the world, though, because we can get Grassy Terrain up and knock out the... it's going to be close. Yeah, I think Bleak Wind would have knocked that out, but, you know, it is what it is. They go for Trick Room. Now I'm just going to Protect, switch into Regidrago, and that should be... they can Pain Split back up to full is the one problem with that. Yeah, okay. Should I Protect here or no? I think I'm always switching Rillaboom. The question is, what do I do with this? Rain Dance, there's not a lot of value out of that. If I Bleak Wind, I'm kind of just opening myself up to a knockout. If they Pain Split, I'm going to go really, really low on my... Okay. If they don't knock out my Regidrago, that's fine, right? Stalling out a turn of Tailwind. I think if they actually take that hit up, they're in worse shape. And I don't want them to double into my Regidrago. So I'm going to switch into that. Because I knocked out the Indeedee and the Armarouge, they can't switch in and out. So Psychic Terrain is going to leave the field and I'll be able to knock out their Ursaluna always with Grassy Glide. Yeah, they go Pain Split on that. They're going to heal up back to full. I'm going to go to 149, which is kind of higher than I expected. They do double that though, so very glad. They made a good read, but I went for the Bleak Wind, which should put us in a very good spot. And we do actually connect, which brings them really low. We can always go for a Grassy Glide into that. We lower their speed. Will-O-Wisp could be a concern. Yeah, I think now we have... Should I go Rain Dance? Let me look at the Trick Room turns. This is definitely going down to the wire. I think they probably made a mistake on the switch in the Ursaluna turn. They were expecting my Protect, which they got, but not sure if it benefited them overall. Should I Protect Grassy Glide? Maybe. Let's think. If I Protect, then they can never knock out my Torn before Tailwind ends, which I think is good. They can go for a couple Nightshades into me, which is like maybe an issue. I think I'm going to go Bleak Wind, Grassy Glide though. Maybe I should Rain Dance, guarantee I'm hitting them, I'm not sure. But I always go Grassy Glide into the Ursaluna. They do Protect, stall out a turn. I could have gotten aggressive there, but I don't think there's really a reason to toss the game. They revealed they aren't Will-O-Wisp, notably, so they actually might lose to high horsepower in the late game. They did Nightshade, so it would have been better to Protect there. We might miss the Bleak Wind. We'll see. We do connect. I feel like that's pretty relevant. They might have lived based on that damage. Yeah, they're turbo slow Dusclops now. Yeah, Grassy Terrain healing up their Ursaluna so we can never knock them out with Burn Chip. So them going for multiple Protects could actually be an out. I have revealed Protect on Tornadus, right? Definitely have. I think I'm going to go Rain Dance, actually. Does that lose me anything? I don't think so. I think it just guarantees I hit my moves in the next turns. I don't think it matters though, truthfully. Running low on your time, but I think we have enough time to close the game out. I'm gonna go Protect. I'm gonna go Rain Dance. Well, I'm gonna go Rain Dance, Grassy Glide, trust my gut. I think they have to Nightshade. They don't have to Nightshade the Rillaboom this turn, but I think it's massively to their benefit. I could have gone Protect like twice on their Dusclops. But, you know, I think the damage here might be kind of close, so I just want to go for the high horsepower. Endgame, going for the Rain Dance. We'll see if they targeted the Torn. Shouldn't be overly... Oh, they did. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's a little weird, honestly. But, you know, I didn't make the correct plays given the plays they made, so can't be too critical. They made, like I say, the correct plays. I think high horsepower might save us here, though. High horsepower, just till the end of time. They can't Will-O-Wisp us. They have Pain Split. I do have to be careful of that. like how that might sway the game. Because there's a chance they can pain split me into 50 HP range and then knock me out. This is the last turn of Trick Room. We'll see. We'll see how this works. They go pain split, which heals them a bit. Fair enough. We go high horsepower. Let's see how much that does. That's doing a good chunk. There's probably a way to guarantee this win. High horsepower. Yeah, I think there's probably, like, they have to set up Trick Room this turn, I think. Yeah, that gets them pretty low, but now they'll probably be able to go for Pain Split to close this out. Maybe I should have gone Woodhammer there. It's going to be close. Yeah, if they Pain Split me under 50 HP, I'm in trouble. One more turn of Grassy Terrain. Yeah, it's going to be very close. But I think Pain Split might edge it out for them. 95. Okay, I think we're actually good. As long as we hit our high horsepowers, we should be chilling. We're over 100 HP. So they can't bring us below 50 this turn. They definitely can't. So they have to go 2 Nightshades, I think. Or they have to Pain Split to survive the high horsepower. But if they do that, I'm still over 50 HP, which means they can't knock me out with Nightshade, and I think 2 high horsepowers should knock them out. Yeah, they're down to 74 HP. And we do hit, and they're still got a little bit of juice left. If I protect, this would be good, but yeah, they're going to go down to 30, like 40 HP. If we hit this, we should win. Maybe I would consider going Woodhammer, but I think the damage might be a little shy based on the damage we did to them earlier. So this is going to come down to if we hit all our horsepowers. We have been fortuitous this game. Fortunate, fortuitous. Got to look up the difference next game. But yeah, there's the Pain Split. We are under 44. And we do hit the horsepower, and that does close it out. Really close game to them. Smart Dusclops Terra. I think they probably could have just like swept the game early by going for the Ursaluna. I wasn't exactly applying a lot of pressure, and I think if they just continue to take knockouts until I can't switch out my Rillaboom, they probably should just beat me with the Armarouge. But yeah, they led smart. I had the Tornadus on the field basically to mitigate the Rain Dance, or mitigate the Hisuian-Arcanine, Hisuian Lilligant, and the Torkoal modes, but they just expertly did not bring either of those, and kind of made my Torn feel like dead weight that battle. Even though the Bleak ones were good, like the damage I got ultimately did get us a knockout on the Indeedee, knock out the Armarouge, and probably would have closed the game out, knocking out the Dusclops that turn. I feel like they played it pretty well outside of the one switch. In team preview, they like perfectly read me, and then it felt like on the one switch out turn, they messed up on the Ursaluna. Okay, up against Jay, featuring the really popular Tailwind team, actually beat, I believe, Raghav in top 4. So uphill battle here. They have Fluttermane, Rillaboom, Chien-Pao, Tornadus, Arcanine, and the Urshifu. I do believe it's I don't know if it's Scarf on this team. I should probably look that up. But yeah. Let me look at my speed stat. It really does depend on their speed stat, but I expect most of their Pokemon should outspeed the Regidrago, unfortunately. They don't leave Rillaboom, Torn, like this is really good. I like Gholdengo a fair bit in the back, and then I think Arcanine feels pretty good. I'm actually leaving myself pretty open to their Urshifu mode, so I have to be wary of that. Yeah, that's interesting. I could see Arcanine being good in the back. Maybe I have to forego the Gholdengo, even if it is tempting, and just really rely on the Urshifu. I think I might do that. Yeah, that seems correct for me. Like, Gholdengo, in theory, is really good against Torn, Rillaboom, all Pokemon that are really, I think, essential in the matchup for them. But the Sucker Punch from Chien-Pao is annoying. The Focus Sash is annoying. It'd be appreciated against Fluttermane, but yeah, I'm not sure I should be going for that. So it is Torn Arcanine. I think they're Terra Normal Arcanine. They could go Terra Normal Rock Slide, which would be like Terra Fairy here, which I think is probably a fair play. So I'm just going to switch and go for Tailwind of my own. Well, should I protect? It's definitely an option. Maybe chipping them would be valuable. They could go for Rock Slide of their own, which would be kind of bad. I think I'm just going to go Tailwind, switch. Honestly. They could switch out their Arcanine. We show that they're not Choice Scarf Arcanine. Basically, that's all we learned from that switch order. If they don't Terra, we had a knockout with Surging Strikes. We might not have had a safe... Like, I don't think Terraing is especially safe for us. They are going for a Terra on the Arcanine, so it could be Terra Blast. Terra Fairy, Terra Blast, or Terra Normal. Okay, they're going Terra Normal, though, so that definitely won't knock out my Torn, but there's no saying they're going for Extreme Speed. Like, that could have just been a solid defensive Terra, and that does look to be the case as they go second after the Torn, and it might be a Rock Slide here, which is going to do pretty incredible damage to mine, and I'm likely to be the slower of the Arcanine. Yeah, that's kind of annoying, because I could have gotten... Oh, they do crit my Torn, which is on some level annoying, but maybe fine. Yeah, that's pretty annoying, though. Yeah, good read from them, but I could have gotten a Surging Strikes on there. They're Torn, which is frustrating. I think now I have the Urshifu in pretty safely. It really just depends on the bulk level of theirs. Unfortunately, I didn't learn the speed tiers between our Arcanines. I could go Terra Water, but that really opens me up to Rillaboom in the back. I think I'm going to go E-Speed, Surging Strikes. Hopefully they are not the... what is that, Rillaboom? That's annoying. Urshifu, okay. I think I like this damage, though. Yeah, that might chip them in the Surging Strikes range. We have to be kind of... it's not even close, but we will have the Rillaboom in the back, so we might have something there. Because Rock Slide's going to knock us out, and we'll be threatening Grassy Glide into that slot, which is good. Rock Slide misses our Arcanine, which is, I think, actually detrimental a little bit. Like, if I want to play aggressive on their Aqua Jet or something, I can switch out to Rillaboom. I think they have a pretty solid lead here. I think I might have to play aggressive, so I'm going to switch into Rillaboom, and... I mean, E-Speed... Who could they have in the back? It's probably Rillaboom, which is somewhat annoying. So if they knock out my Arcanine, they win. So I'm going to switch out and go for a Surging Strikes into the Arcanine. They stay in, good play. But they're switching the Arcanine out, which is, I think, favorable for me. Torn's out. Okay, we'll see. They're getting out of that Rock Slide lock. This was the good turn to target the Torn. As long as they're not Rocky Helmet, we should be bringing it in range of another one, and hopefully it's a Protect on the Ursh. Although if I'm Terra Water, I have a knockout on them with Surging Strikes, so I'm not sure if they even Protect. They do go Aqua Jet, so we do get that read correctly, and this is going to be a good amount of damage on the Torn. Hopefully it's not Helmet. Ah, it is. Okay. That puts us in range of E-Speed later in the game, unfortunately. Which, yeah, that's pretty bad. Yeah, we knocked them out with another one, but yeah, it's just unfortunate. That's quite bad. I'm not certain we'll live, actually. Yeah, this is a tight spot, I would say. Let's think, though. I think I can fake them out and consider Surging Striking the Urshifu. I'm not in love with that play, though. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad overall, I think. Yeah, them being Rocky Helmet Torn is like pretty miserable. Gonna go Woodhammer. They are switching, so I could have gone Grassy Glide. Maybe we catch them on switch here. Arcanine comes in. Yeah, they're probably trying to live the Grassy Glide, which is fair enough. I don't know if we'll knock out their Torn with E-Speed is the issue. And they did go for the Grassy Glide turn. Yeah, that's kind of... I guess it doesn't really matter. We wouldn't have knocked out the Arcanine anyways. And we're always going to be subject to a breaking, or like a Bleak Wind anyways. So yeah, they go close combat. That's going to knock me out. And now they have a pretty safe Aqua Jet. Like, I can't outspeed their Urshifu. Yeah, it turns out I think that the Gholdengo would have been correct in the back for us. Like, it definitely, like, Urshifu is good. Oh, I guess we would hammer the Urshifu anyways, but I think I would have rather gone for the Grassy Glide there. I guess we do still have an out in that we can surprise them with Terra. Like, I think they would live a Grassy Glide normally, but I don't think they'll, one, see the Grassy Glide or the Terra coming. Man, the only question is, what are their back Pokemon? They have Torn. We don't know their back Pokemon. It's going to be pretty close, I think. E-Speed, I feel like, doesn't knock them out. Yeah, I think maybe... Yeah, if they switch, it doesn't look great, I would say. They can go Rock Slide. I did get into this position by dodging. I'm going to assume they go... Yeah, E-Speed just definitely doesn't knock out their Torn. So I'm going to go Rock Slide, Grassy Glide, and hope that knocks out. I could E-Speed. That's really banking on them making a horrible move on the Arcanine, so I don't think that makes sense. So just going for it. There's also the chance that E-Speed just knocks me out. But yeah, the Rocky Helmet Tornadus, not knowing it was that, really made me centralize around the Urshifu as my means of dealing with the Torn in a way that was really not correct. But yeah, that's just unfamiliarity with the team. They go for Tailwind, which is interesting, because that does give us a knockout in the arc, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and then Rock Slide should knock out the Torn. Okay. So who do you have in the back? I wasn't paying close enough attention to the grassy terrain turns, truthfully, so we could still lose. We hit the Rock Slide, and that is a knockout on the Torn. Okay. Who'd you set up for in the back is the one question. If it's Rillaboom, I think we still lose. If it's Chenpao, I think we have to hit a Reed. Fluttermane, okay. That's interesting. I actually think we always should win with Woodhammer then, because that'll definitely knock out the Flutter, I would say. We have 2 turns of grassy terrain. Let's think. They have to go for... Yeah, why did they have Fluttermane in the back? Could they have brought that in earlier under Tailwind, not really against the Urshifu? Interesting, okay. Grassy Glide is a 2 at KO. I guess I can... How can I lose this, basically? I think if I Grassy Glide, they have to Moonblast me. Yeah, I think I like Grassy Glide into... Because I am not certain that a Woodhammer knocks out. They go for Protect, cool. Yeah, I'm not certain Woodhammer knocks out. They still have the grassy terrain, but I am healing off of that, so I think that's fine. I think the only way I could lose this is if they have to... Like, Moonblast will not knock out my Rillaboom, I'm Assault Vest, even with a crit. So, how can they win? They can target into the Arcanine, crit a Shadow Ball, and then I lower myself low enough such that they can knock me out the next turn with a crit Moonblast. So worst case, they have to get 2 crits, I think, to win. And they go for the double protect, stalling out the grassy terrain. I think that's reasonable for sure, but I think I was always going for Grassy Glide Woodhammer even out of terrain. Maybe they would have lived. I don't know. But yeah, we go for this and they do get knocked out. Yeah, I think they had to crit a Shadow Ball there to have a chance, and they go for the double protect option instead, which makes sense. Maybe you can rely on me not going for Woodhammer twice in a row. Like, rely on me going for the Woodhammer, it living, you knock out Arcanine, and then get the crit next turn. But yeah, good game to them. I think they kind of messed up on the Arcanine turn. They were looking for me to go in a direction I didn't end up going, and they end up getting punished pretty badly from what felt like a pretty locked up game on lead, as I really got outplayed that first turn to a pretty massive swing at the end. If they had Rillaboom in the back, I think they would have won, because a Tailwind Woodhammer would have knocked out my Arcanine. I don't have U-turn, they don't know that, but if they do, then they just out-damage me with that. So yeah, kind of incomplete information on both of our sides. I think adjusting how we would have played it in a best of 3, but I think it's kind of on both of us to know those teams. They're pretty popular, recently finishing tournament teams. So yeah, happy to come away with the win, but definitely wasn't too happy with the game plan. I think ultimately the Gholdengo option would have been really, really good in the back. Like if I switch it on that Rock Slide, if Torn doesn't get crit, that's like a free, very free Make It Rain, and nothing in the back wants to switch in on that. So a bit of a mistake there, but we learn and we move on to the next. Okay, this one up against Ogerpon, Hearthflame, Iron Hands, Kingambit, Fluttermane, Gyarados, and Sinistcha. Very bulky team, first thing I noticed. Lots of potential setup. Iron Hands, not usually a setup Pokemon, can go SD. Ogerpon, SD, Kingambit, ST, Dragon Dance, Calm Mind, potential on all of their special attackers, so gotta watch out for that. Ample switch-ins to Dragon Energy is what I spot. Actually don't think I have to go for Tailwind this game. I outspeed everything on their team. With Scarf Urshifu, except for a Booster Energy Fluttermane, which is notable. I think Will-O-Wisp is actually quite strong on the Arcanine. I don't necessarily want to lead it, but it might be what I have to go for. Yeah, okay. I could threaten a lot of damage with the Gholdengo. I think similarly I think Rillaboom's a pretty safe lead for me, because I can switch in and out relatively easily. I think maybe Urshifu is a bit better though, because I can U-turn out. I like Gholdengo. Gholdengo's interesting. Regidrago's really good. I think I might be able to handle the Fluttermane without the Gholdengo though. So I think the consistent damage output coming out of Regidrago, as well as a resistant to the Ogerpon stabs, could be really appreciated. Well, I could have gone Terra Dragon on the Regidrago, but then I can't Terra my Rillaboom to take the Grassy Glide knockouts. So that's a bit of a risky game plan. See what they lead. They go for the Fluttermane and Kingambit, which is smart against Arcanine Urshifu, kind of. But I do think I have Will-O-Wisp Surging Strike pretty safely. You have to be pretty bulky on the Flutter to survive this, but they could switch out just as easily. So I'm going to go for Will-O-Wisp. That is what it is here for. And yeah, I think I might want to get some damage down on the Kingambit, truthfully. I don't love the idea of Fluttermane switching into Sinistcha. So I think I'm going to Will-O-Wisp the Kingambit and then go for a switch out into... Will-O-Wisp for sure, and then I think U-turn into one of these two. I could see the damage on the Fluttermane being important for Grassy Glide, so I'm going to U-turn into that. They don't switch. They do Terra. Okay. They're going for a Terra on the Kingambit. Were you actually Terra Fire? Terra Flying. Okay. Fair enough. That could be an Assault Vest Kingambit. That does affect who I want to switch into, but I don't have a great switch in the... Yeah, probably had an... that does a lot. I'm U-turn into the Flutter. I think I had a free Surging Strikes into that. It is what it is, though. We'll adjust. I think we now go Rillaboom, because I can't switch into the Regidrago, I don't think. We will get Fake Out Pressure. Let's see if they Shadow Balled or Dazzling Gleamed. I feel like Dazzling Gleam is a little safer, because the Urshifu is like kind of incentivized with CC there. Yeah, they go Dazzle. We'll see how much it does. That might be Specs, I'm not sure. We Will-O-Wisp and we actually do connect. That's really essential for this team. Otherwise, we're pretty weak to Kingambit, especially if we don't know the Terra type. They did Terra out of their weakness. But yeah, there's a Kowtow. Gonna do a lot, but ultimately not a knockout. And they activate our Sitrus Berry, which is really good. Now I feel pretty safe about going for a Rock Slide, Grassy Glide into the Flutter, because I think that's not a knockout even if they Sucker Punch me, which is good. Well, I could Fake Out, honestly. Yeah, that feels a little better. I think I'm going to Rock Slide, Fake Out you. I am healing the damage on the Flutter Mane, and you could switch. And I think just like not letting the Kingambit get free hits on me is pretty important. And they do switch the Flutter, so going for a Grassy Glide could have been like into Gyarados or something annoying, so happy with how that plays out. Sinistra, okay, yeah. Hospitality, you're really not getting a lot of value out of the ability on that turn. Just knocking them right back down with that. We miss a Rock Slide into the Sinistra, which is fine. Really depends on what the Kingambit's item is. If you're Terra Flying, I feel like you would be Assault Vest. You might have even gone for Swords Dance that first turn. So I'm going to go Rock Slide, Grassy Glide into the Kingambit, basically not wanting to get Sucker Punched on my Rillaboom. Okay, they do switch. Let's see if they have something that can tank the Grassy Glide easily. I'm not certain that they do. The Iron Hands actually should live it pretty easily, and they are setting up well for a Trick Room out, actually. So good play from them there. Yeah, okay. Oh, they do flinch. That's really bad for them, because now they're essentially forced to Fake Out my Arcanine to not get Will-O-Wisp, which is really, really good for me. For a number of reasons, but mainly because it gets me out on the Rillaboom and into the Regidrago, and I can get cooking if they set up Trick Room on me. Yeah. They also don't have Intimidate on their side of the field, which was one of the concerns. I think that really primes Rillaboom for Terra Grass later in the game, honestly. Yeah, it's looking overall pretty good, I would say. Unless they burn me with a Matcha Gotcha, the Terra Grassy looks incredible. We do miss Wisp onto the Iron Hands, which is like fair enough. We did flinch their Sinistro when they could have set up Trick Room, but definitely annoying because they can probably knock us out this turn. They go Drain Punch. We do live with 1 HP. Perfect EVs. Love to see it. Yeah, I do think... Yeah, I don't know. Like, they obviously have a switch here. I think Will-O-Wisp... Yeah, I think I like Will-O-Wisp Dragon Energy a fair bit overall. Drain Punch is going to do a lot, but less so if I hit the Will-O-Wisp this turn. Sinistra probably lives this, yeah, but it does so much damage overall. And they were Sitrus Berry on the Iron Hands, fair enough. So they could have been Lumberry, but yeah, we miss another Will-O-Wisp. That's pretty bad. That's pretty annoying. Life Dew, wow, okay. They didn't go Trick Room, which is, you know, fine. They do have to hit a Drain Punch here. And if they... Let's see how much damage. Drain Punch does over 50%. Yeah, that's really bad. That's super frustrating. I think this turn I'm going to go for Flare Blitz into the Sinistra. That should do a lot of damage into anything they have in the back. Their Hospitality, we know they're not flame proof, heat proof. And I think Draco Meteor, it's probably not going to knock them out. Yeah, that's really, really annoying though on the Will-O-Wisp miss. What do we do though? How can we deal with that? Sinistra isn't really a threat actually at all. So I think I can go Life Dew, Strength Sap. You would probably have Matcha Gotcha Trick Room. Yeah. So what move are they missing? They could be Protect on the Iron Hands. I think at this point, because of the Sitrus Berry, they might be. I'm just going to go Flare Blitz Protect here. The double Will-O-Wisp miss was definitely annoying because otherwise I would have an extremely safe Dragon Energy. Pretty close to double knockout this turn, but it is what it is. They go Rage Powder, so it's actually better I didn't go for a Dragon Energy there. But yeah, really, really risky of them for going for Life Dew that turn and not Rage Powder, because I could have Will-O-Wisp their Iron Hands. So they did benefit from it, but overall, I don't really feel bad about how I played that. At this point, I'm not sure if I want to bring in the Iron Hands just yet. I could. I think Surging Strikes is cool. Hard to say. Very hard to say. I think a Wood Hammer definitely knocks out their Iron Hands in the late game is what's cool. I think Rillaboom probably makes the most sense here because they can't take an immediate knockout. Well, maybe they can if they're like Rock Slide or something silly. Or if they're Ice Punch or something like that. They bring in the Flutter Mane, which is fine. Time to pop the Terra Grass, which might be a knockout. Maybe I should have. Yeah, probably made a mistake there. But yeah, I'm just going to go Grassy Glide and Earth Power, Draco Meteor. I'm not sure. Dragon Energy is basically base 75 plus the split. Yeah, but I have Dragon Smaw, Dragon Claw. I'm going to go Draco Meteor. It's what, 130 power, I think? 130. So that's stronger than Dragon Energy. So yeah, I'm going to go for that. I believe I hit the Terra button that turn. But I think I might have opened myself up to a loss here by not going Urshifu because Surging Strikes always locks down the Flutter Mane spot with a knockout after getting the U-turn in the early game, I think. Whereas the Grassy Glide is not a guaranteed knockout unless they are, like if they're super duper bulky Flutter Mane, they could live this, which they aren't. So much ado about nothing, but I think that was a situation where if they go for Dazzling Gleam and crit either Drain Punch or Dazzle, they could win, but they don't end up doing that. Drain Punch knocks out the Regidrago, which is, I think, good for me because now I should be able to close it out with Wood Hammer plus Surging Strikes. Wood Hammer into the Iron Hands, of course, and then Surging Strikes to clean up the burned King Gambit. But you do see, if they had been Swords Dance King Gambit and I Intimidate them turn 1 and don't get the Will-O-Wisp spot, this game spirals out of control really far. If I hadn't burned them, yeah. I mean, with any team, you are going to have some issues with certain matchups, but I think Raghav did a good job of at least covering some of the ones that were like kind of declining the metagame. King Gambit very common earlier in the meta, but the Will-O-Wisp kind of just covering that because otherwise if they have a smart Terra, you don't really have any options. But if you can force a Terra Fire, then you can beat up with Urshifu. If you force anything else, you beat it with the Regidrago if they unless it's for some reason Fairy or Steel. But yeah, I do think really saw the value out of the Will-O-Wisp bulky Arcanine there, and really in all the battles we have. Choice Band definitely has its potency as we saw in the first battle against our other opponent, but yeah, the Will-O-Wisp just excellent utility against bulkier teams that really elevates this team unless you play without Tailwind in a way that I really appreciate. Okay, last of the day, once again against the Indeedee, Armarouge, Ursaluna, Torkoal, this time Hatterene, and then the Lilligant. I do think I'm going to go the same route. I think that was this is a little weaker to the Hatterene actually on lead. So I might want to navigate away from that. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to go Torn Gholdengo. And I think I always bring the Rillaboom in the back. And then Regidrago is quite appealing as well. Although I could go Arcanine. Yeah, Arcanine. There's an argument for Arcanine for sure. How fast am I? I don't think I outspeed a Lilligant, unfortunately. I could see Arcanine coming. Maybe I should lead it, truthfully. I think I will lead it, actually. Because I can threaten Rock Slide on anything, Big Flare Blitz damage on everything else. Okay. I think this is actually an interesting way to take it. Yeah, this is an interesting way to take it for me. I'm experimenting, but I think Gholdengo might actually be kind of bad in some respects. I'm not sure though. Yeah, I was between Torn or Torn or the Gholdengo in the back. I think if I can stop Trick Room from going up, Tornadus is worse, weirdly enough, because I don't need Tailwind. If I don't have Tailwind on the field, if I don't have Trick Room on the field, then I'm not worried about setting up Rain Dance to weaken the Torkoal's offense, but because I can just knock it out. But I think there's a high likelihood that it goes up this game. They do go Torkoal, Lilligant. I have Arcanine, Regidrago, so they're not really threatening that much damage, truthfully. They can go after you Earth Power, which is for sure a concern. That would be a concern for sure. How fast am I? Unfortunately, not fast enough would be my guess. I could be Goggles. Like, you could expect me to be Goggles here. I think if they go for... Honestly, the damage output into Regidrago isn't that crazy. So I think I'm going to go Flare Blitz Dragon Energy. They have to pick one. They go Sleep Powder into the Arcanine, which means I'm actually just knocking out their Torkoal this turn, I think. Yeah, very good turn. So yeah, they missed the Sleep Powder, but they got the read wrong, and now they're like down like 49.99% of their whole team's HP. And here's that last 0.001% on the rest of it. So unfortunate turn for them. Yeah, I think I figured out the appropriate counter lead to the Lilligant Torkoal in this one. I also led, I feel like, pretty well against the the Armarouge and DD. If they led Hatterene, that would have been the one weakness for me here. But then I could have switched out into my Rillaboom. I could have gone for Rock Slide. If I get a flinch, I think I like nearly win the game on the spot. But yeah, here comes these guys. I think Rock Slide, switch into the... Can I just go Flare Blitz Rock Slide, honestly? Do I have to... How tricky do I have to play here? I don't think I have to play too tricky. We'll see if they're Wide Guard or not. Do I have to risk that? I don't think so. If they are Wide Guard, then I just go... Like, I feel like I beat them with a Rillaboom in the back plus Rain Dance. And I get to, yeah, they cancel the battle. I think if they were Wide Guard, they could go follow me. Trick Room there, close it out. But if they are Protect Armarouge and they're not Fairy Terra, then I don't really see a way out. I could have Flare Blitz to cover the Trick Room a little more, but like Trick Room, Terra Fairy. But yeah, just a quick one there. That definitely won't be the last just because 2-turn battles, definitely not satisfying to end on. All right, last one of the day, for real, once again up against Trick Room, but this time with a Tailwind spin to it. Okay. Do I adjust how I play based off that? I don't really think so. I think I liked my lead a lot last time. This time there's no Psychic terrain, which is interesting. I think they're still pretty reliant on the Sun, so I might get this. I might go for the Rain Dance. Truthfully, and I don't really need the Rillaboom. Yeah, I think the Urshifu is actually a good bring here because I can turn off the Rain Dance. I'm not worried about a secondary damage source like I am when Psychic Terrain's on the field, so I don't need Rillaboom to just come in and turn that off right away. I think this is against them. This is something where, like, if I lead correctly, I almost certainly win the battle. Well, I feel like Salamence is kind of a wild card for them, because Talonflame is going to be pretty predictable. Might have a stray Will-O-Wisp or a Life Orb Terraflying move coming out. But the Roaring... Okay, Hatterene, Ursaluna, that's fine. Because I think I can pretty safely go... I don't think Flare Blitz knocks them out. Ooh, okay, this is actually a good lead from them. I could Flare Blitz Earth Power, go for a knockout that way, which would be interesting. Yeah, very, very interesting in how this position progresses. If I was Banded Arcanine, I'd be in a great spot. I think I like Rock Slide Draco, or Rock Slide Dragon Energy, truthfully. But yeah, this is actually a situation where having Rillaboom in the back would be really, really appreciated. But unfortunately, I don't have that. To go Protect, fair enough. If we get the Rock Slide flinch, we win on the spot, but obviously that's less than a 30% chance. I need to first off hit the attack, and yeah, there's a lot that has to go right for me here. So that was the lead I was expecting the last game, or at least something close to it. Like the Hatterene really pressures me, but I could have led Gholdengo to cover that a bit more. We go for the Rock Slide in the Hatterene, and they do go for Trick Room. So fair enough. They do now threaten me pretty severely with Dazzling Gleam, unfortunately. Which is a big problemo. Okay. I could go Terra. Yeah, the issue is the Regidrago is just really feeling a lot of pressure here. If I can knock out one, then I can go Terra Steel. They might Swords Dance, truthfully, which is like the main fear. Or they could Headlong Rush plus Dazzling Gleam. Because I feel like Dazzling Gleam, unless their Life Orb, will not knock out the Regidrago. I wonder if Flare Blitz... I feel like Flare Blitz Earth Power still wouldn't have knocked out their Hatterene, unfortunately. This is a situation where like Terra Steel Blast would have been good. But they go Dazzle. Going to do a good chunk to my Torn, unfortunately. Yep, about a third, and they go for Facade in the Regidrago. So I did actually have the free Terra Steel there, which is unfortunate, but it's not that free in that... Like, it still would have done a lot of damage to me. So I think I'm going to Protect, and I feel like it's Terra Steel time. They Headlong Rush, Dazzling Gleam, then I'm kind of cooked. Yeah, I wish I'd attacked last turn, but hey, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Should I switch? Should I Facade? I feel like... It's going to be tricky, I think, this turn. I think I'm going to Bleak Wind, switch. I think this is actually the turn that they go for a Headlong Rush, because I could, like, it's a very obvious switch into my Arcanine here. So I think it could very, very easily be Dazzling Gleam, Headlong Rush into the Arcanine. And I don't really want to fall entirely on my face to that. Like if I waste my Terra, I'm in big trouble. They go for Facade though, which is that's annoying. Yeah, -1 crit Facade. Okay, I mean that's fine in some respect as long as I hit my Bleak Winds on the Hatterene specifically. But the main issue is like I'm really having some trouble stalling out this Hatterene. There were Sitrus too, so yeah, Flare Blitz Earth Power never would have been a play, I don't think. Yeah, the hat's an issue for sure. Because I didn't bring Gholdengo. At this point, I'd probably be pretty safe to bring in Gholdengo to beat it, but without, it's kind of dicey. All right, let's see. How many turns of Trick Room are there left? Them taking the knockout there, very, very, very detrimental. I think I always Protect here and go Terra Steel. Dragon Energy, I think, is maybe better for me here. Could I double Protect, actually? I could very easily double Protect. And I think it's actually in my best interest too. Yes, I believe so. No, I actually want to take a knockout this turn and force out their switch in. So if they went for like Facade for 3 turns in a row, and then they finally go for the Headlong Rush, fair enough. But, you know, hopefully not the case. They did get some good luck on that turn. I would have been able to stall out a little more safely for my Urshifu, but unfortunately didn't quite get there. I'm going for Protect on Tornadus, basically to go for a Rain Dance on the last turn of Trick Room, I think. They're now -1. They're -2 on the Ursaluna, but they get a bit of initial chip, so Headlong might still knock out. They Facade into the Torn, which is really good because I get near max strength Dragon Energy. I think it would have knocked out even if they had Facaded, as long as they don't get another crit. But now I do like our spot a fair bit. Okay. Because I feel like now you're incentivized to bring in Torkoal. Roaring Moon probably, unless they're like Terra Ground, doesn't have a knockout. There's Torkoal. Okay, good. Question is, do I now go for Rain Dance Protect? Torkoal in the back could be troublesome. Or do I Rain Dance attack? If they go Terra Fire, they still maybe could take a knockout. So I think I'm actually going to go Rain Dance Protect. Because if they don't make an aggressive switch out this turn, then I am primed for a double knockout next turn if they don't have Protect on the Torkoal. Which on a team like this, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, it could either be, honestly, like Helping Hand support Torkoal, or it could be a Terra Fire Specs, could be Charcoal. But regardless, I think I do. Yeah, they don't switch out. The Terra Steel baited in the Torkoal pretty successfully here, and now we get the Rain Dance up, and outside of what? Skill Swap Hatterene, we should have a knockout. They do Psychic, cool. But yeah, the hat, ultimately, if I led like Gholdengo, they just like get cooked immediately, because I can just easily go for a Make It Rain, knock out the Hatterene. If they go for a Terra, if it's like Terra Rock or something, I have that covered with Rock Slide, and unless they go for a Earthquake, we get a double. Only one of our Pokemon can get knocked out, and when you're trading that for the Trick Room Pokemon, that's usually in our favor. Yeah, I think I like Surging Strikes into the Hatterene and Make It Dragon Energy, because it fully covers a Terra on the Hatterene. If they go Fairy, that's not resisting the Surging Strikes, that's still going to be a knockout. If they are a water resistant, then they just get knocked by a dragon type move. And they're switching Lilligant. Oh, could that be all they need? Potentially so. Okay. Yeah, back Lilligant was really smart. And it was really good that we knocked out their Sitrus Berry on the Hatterene earlier in the battle. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten this knockout. But yeah, Lilligant's exactly who they want here. Kind of. Oh, definitely not. No, you have to be Focus Sash Lilligant. Why are you not Focus Sash Lilligant? Okay. I guess that's fine. It's interesting. If I was anything but Choice Scarf Urshifu, I would definitely still win because I just Aqua Jet the Lilligant. But in that circumstance, it actually gets a little dicey because, say for example, like we'll just Surging Strike and close the battle out, but it's interesting because if they're Focus Sash, I can't just Aqua Jet them, unfortunately. They're going for a Terra. Terra Fairy Torkoal would maybe be hard. No, it's Terra Fire. I probably should have gone Earth Power to cover for it, but kind of in that same vein of the Hatterene, there's not a lot of Terra types they could do to actually win them that game. And yeah, we're doing not that much damage, but what could it have been? Like Lilligant, like assuming Torkoal comes in completely fresh, they bring in Lilligant. Because I burned my Terra, I can't go Terra Poison, unfortunately. Them not knowing I was Scarf was probably pretty bad for them though, because then I can just Aqua Jet, but yeah, if they brought in Lilligant, how would I have won that game if they were Focus Sash? If they go after you Eruption, and I don't protect my Regidrago, I think they outdamage me to the point that I lose the game, even if I'm resisting with Urshifu and I knock out the Lilligant that turn. But if they target into the Urshifu that turn, then with like Sleep Powder or Solar Blade or something like that, that's a knockout. And then if I had protected my Regidrago, then I just lose to After You Eruption next turn. So I think that was actually a pretty interesting spot if they were the conventional Lilligant set. And yeah, kind of lucked out that they weren't. Otherwise, it would have come down to either protect or attack on the Regidrago to close the game out. And obviously, don't think I was getting many turns that game right, other than the one Facade. And I think that was kind of just like them misplaying a bit. But yeah, I'm really not confident I would have called that 50-50 right. But we were able to get it. We did get crit. We missed a flinch opportunity. So overall, I think figured out the game decently with some unfamiliar components. I think going back, yeah, like the Regidrago is so threatening on Team Preview to most opponents that you can kind of expect them to lead reactively to something like Torn Regidrago or anything else plus Regidrago. So in the future, if I were using this team in like a more competitive tournament setting or continued ladder settings, I would definitely try and press the Gholdengo a little more often, just because people are going to bring their fairy types a little more often, try to counter the really the only way to switch into the dragon energies with Dragon's Maw and Dragon's Claw or Dragon's Fang is just having a fairy type, just because the steel type is, you know, still taking 40-50% damage sometimes, even through a resist. But Yeah, so that will do it for our battles featuring Raghav Malaviya's top 4 Toronto team, the really cool Regidrago Tornadus team. I really do appreciate the Regidrago on this team just because there's not a lot of fairy types in the metagame. It's really just Flutter Mane, and so you can kind of centralize your answers to that pretty aggressively. If you look at it, the Gholdengo, if you wanted to beat it a little more aggressively, you go Terra Steel, but the Metal Coat's a nice addition so that you can instantly go Tailwind, Metal Coat, make it rain, knock out the Flutter Mane, while also having the ability to go for nasty plots and play that sort of Gholdengo angle. And then you have of course, the Rillaboom with the Terra Grassy Glide, able to knock out some of them after a bit of chip. The Urshifu Terra Poison, if they're running for some reason a bulky Flutter Mane that can live your Surging Strikes, you can just basically live any one of its fairy type hits, really force them to go for Shadow Ball if they don't want to just get caught by that. So I think this team's really cool. If you want to try it out for yourself, the rental code is in the top right of the video, as well as the Poke Paste with the EV spreads in the description below. If you enjoyed the battles along with the rental code provided, please subscribe to the channel. Work hard to put that resource out for y'all. And yeah, with all that being said, peace y'all.